Hey everybody, Shawn here. How you doing? My first time on stage, my third time at the conference. Super excited to be here, a little nervous. So right away, hopefully you'll be able to understand my stuff a little better if you've seen Harry Potter, the Hunger Games, the X-Men, stuff like that. Quick disclaimer, I didn't create any of those pictures. You can find them all on Google Images. But my thing is the Hero Training School. And I'm into being an agent of positive change. So in other words, like a helping professional. I get paid to be a helping professional. I work at a Maine State supermax prison with the state's most dangerous criminals who also have a mental health diagnosis. So it's kind of scary sometimes, but really interesting and exciting. And so I get to practice this every day. And I've spent the past 5 years putting this hero training together. Originally, I called it a life management training. And the idea is for people like the guys I work with who have been convicted of a crime, who have gotten in trouble, nobody ever tries to help them to make better choices until after they've gotten in trouble. So this concept is for people like yourself who haven't gotten in trouble to have a second chance at learning things that you might not have picked up growing up. If, like me, you went through, and like a lot of the other speakers, if you grew up in homes that were somewhat oppressive or dominating or, maybe not physically abusive, but controlling, if you didn't get a chance to practice being a good manager on your own, then there might be some traits or some habits that you can work on to help you become more successful at life, at experiencing well-being, psychological well-being, mental health, and achieving your personal goals, right? So to get started, we'll start where everybody else starts. When I was a kid, just like you, I was ready for that good life experience where the grass is always green and the skies are always blue. But also just like you, I was born to be heroic, and I didn't know that. So of course, what I did know is life's happening. So I started on my hero's journey. Traveled the desert like Andre yesterday morning. No. And it hurt. I started to feel some pain, like walking on hot sand at the beach. And the reason it hurt is because I started to wake up a little bit and recognize that I was in somewhat of a weird family system where dad was really controlling and mom was kind of like a defense attorney who was always getting him off the hook, and she didn't even realize what she was doing, and he didn't realize what he was doing. But they were making choices that weren't really helping them to succeed at life. And another way of describing that is a Dominator Hierarchy, or you might know it as a wolf pack. I call it the wolf pack model, and especially working at a prison, I see it every day. It's what you guys see in the movies related to the idea of prison. One person or group tries to dominate all the other people or groups, right? In order to exploit them to get access to their resources. Like in a wolf pack, they get more food than everyone else. They get to have more girlfriends, or boyfriends than everyone else. And the people on the bottom don't really like to be, under the thumb of the other guy. They don't like to be oppressed. So what's going to happen inevitably is that the people on the bottom eventually are going to fight to get up the pecking order, right? To move up the social ladder. And chickens do this, lots of animals do this, and human beings do this. But guess what? It's really not effective as a way of getting your human needs met. What it is effective at, though, is getting you to be a toxic person, someone who does not experience need satisfaction. In other words, you're going to experience inequality of value when you're being pushed down. You're going to be afraid. You're going to feel coerced. And this might cause you to have distrust, instability, right? Lack of support, imbalance, hopelessness, anxiety, all things that are not fun to be experiencing on a day-to-day basis. And a big reason why a lot of people abuse substances like drugs and alcohol, so they can escape from those kind of feelings without actually having to get out of the wolf pack. So this is not good. What did I do about it? Got the hell out of there and joined the Air Force. And I went to Panama for a couple years and to South Carolina, where I discovered lots of different ways of living and being in the world, and I realized that not everybody lives like the wolf pack. And that was pretty cool, and it helped me to sort of discover a new way. And so then I went to college, turned into a hippie, and that was what I did with my Air Force money. And I started to learn new ways of thinking. So I did these new experiences of diversity, new ways of thinking, and the only thing I needed now was some way to apply my knowledge. So for me, some people would say I developed the Messiah complex because I wanted to create a program that would help to change the world and have people to not have to go through what I went through. So the only thing missing was a reason to implement it, right? That came along with my daughter, Sophia, who's sitting right over here. Hi. And so, thank you. They're clapping for you. So now that I'm grown up and have a child of my own, I had all the necessary motivation to get started implementing what I know, right? I think John Dewey said, knowledge unapplied is useless. So you got to apply what you know if you're going to create change. So I wanted her to have the kind of experience in a social environment at home or at work or at school or at church where she didn't have to experience all that negative toxicity, but instead could experience a sense of community. And I really like the picture of, the Avengers, the X-Men, the Justice League, because you notice they're all like strong and empowered, but they're all standing, equally valued people in their team. It's basically a teamwork orientation that can replace the Dominator Hierarchy. So instead of one person dominating everyone else, everybody works together. And at the prison where I work, we kind of use this model. You have some people that are security, some people that are mental health, like me, and we have some people that are inmates who are participants in the group, right? So everyone plays their part, but we all treat each other in a way that allows us to have a sense of community. So the benefit of that is you get your human mental health needs met, right? You get to feel equality of value, safety. You get to maintain your self-directedness, right? In the movies, you might think of Martin Luther King Jr. for equality of value, right? He helped to facilitate that. Superman for safety. Luke Skywalker and Han Solo and Princess Leia helped to maintain autonomy for all the people that were fighting against the Emperor and Darth Vader, right? Trust. If you've ever seen Last of the Mohicans, there's a great example of trust when the two generals work together to facilitate safety for one of the guys that had been defeated. The groups gets to leave with their weapons, and they trust each other not to kill each other on the way back. Stability. Hermione Granger and Harry Potter. Voldemort's always trying to destabilize Hogwarts so that they have to shut down, but he doesn't succeed because Hermione and Harry are there and Ron. Respect. Jackie Robinson, right? First African-American Major League Baseball player, got treated really poorly by racist baseball fans, didn't buy in, ended up getting Rookie of the Year because he facilitated respect for all the future generations of non-white baseball players because he tolerated that discomfort. So there's lots of other examples. There's a hero for each of those, but I won't go into them all right now. And the reason the outer and inner circle there is it looks like dignity on the top inside, and it feels like equality. It looks like security, but it feels like safety. So each of these needs has a dual aspect, and you can notice it. I think earlier the lady mentioned having a map, creating a map for the territory, right? Your life is the territory. The journey is the territory. You need to have a map that's a frame of reference so you can walk into a place and recognize what's going on. Just like, RoboCop or Terminator, when they walk in to do some bad stuff, they always can see who's there, what's going on. They can name things, right? So with this way, you can name your experiences and you can see them. What's the benefit of experiencing need satisfaction and achieving your personal goals, of not being oppressed, of being empowered, is flourishing life. This is all stuff from positive psychology. When you get your needs met, you can experience self-actualization, right? The human acorn can become the human mighty oak tree. There's nothing blocking you from reaching your full potential. The rose becomes in full bloom. You get to have creative production, achievement, flow. Time, seems to slow down and go quickly because your level of skill matches what's happening. You have meaning, you have positive relationships, positive emotions, and of course, the whole point of it all is when you get out of those wolf pack places and into the Justice League kind of place, you can have fun and enjoy your life, right? And have what all the other animals and plants on planet Earth get to have. You can just relax and be yourself. So in order for you to do that, who do you have to become? You have to become heroic. I'm a big fan of us, reframing the meaning of the word hero so that it's not something that implies being arrogant or narcissistic or better than or something that just happens once in a while, but that it's something that a regular person does every day as part of being a regular human being, right? Especially if you're an adult human being, right? Sometimes kids can't do anything about their circumstances. They don't know that they have power. But when you're a grown-up, you do have power. So you have power to get your human needs met by taking personal responsibility for creating and protecting the kind of situational conditions in which your own suffering and the suffering of your kids and your friends can be alleviated and your flourishing life can be promoted, right? A simpler way to say that is, life's a garden, can you dig it? Who said that? Joe Dirt, right? Life's a garden, can you dig it? If you can dig it, then you can keep on getting your needs met. But if you don't know that you're a gardener, and you don't know that this right here is a garden, and you're all plants in it, and I'm a plant in it, so we're getting our needs met here, or we're being toxic here together. And the way you can tell is how you feel and what you notice, right? So if you can do that, then you can join the ranks of all these other heroes, which I think of as guardians of the good life, right? Human beings want to have a good life. Aristotle, famous Greek philosopher, said that's the whole point of life. What we want is to experience a good life. You got to know how to facilitate and protect it, how to cultivate and protect it. So I'm going to fly through 12 quick things that you can develop in order to increase your odds of success in this area. You don't want to be like Eeyore and have a victim mentality. Instead, you want to internalize and recognize that you have the power and permission to succeed. You can intervene, you can act. And if you know that you have the power, you're more likely to engage, especially when you recognize one person trying to dominate everyone else like a bully. You can help people to not be bullied, and you can help the bully to use better strategies to get their needs met, because they're losing friends when they do that. Then you want to have the idea that everyone matters, not just you. If you think of mercenaries in the movies who say, I don't care what you want to happen, I'll just kill people for money, that's that egocentric thinking. Beatrix Lestrange on Harry Potter has that. She doesn't like Muggleborns. The overt villain, Voldemort. His problem is he doesn't know how to work as a team. He always tries to coerce everyone's compliance. He tries to dominate you and take away your free choice. He wants to control and direct your will. Next is Dolores Umbridge. She's just like Voldemort, only she does her mistreatment and bullying in a way that you can't recognize. Remember in Harry Potter, she hurts Harry without even touching him. So that's a form of psychological abuse. You want to have self-esteem, I'm running out of time here. You want to have self-esteem so that you don't end up being like Professor Snape, who seems to hate himself because he wasn't there to save Harry Potter's mother. And so now he sometimes seems like he works for the bad guys because he's not fully on board with the good life, because he wants to be punished. He thinks he deserves punishment. This guy doesn't set limits. The minion, you got to be able to set limits when Voldemort tries to coerce your compliance. You got to be able to say no. No is a beautiful word. Don't rescue people. You got to hold others accountable to a standard that supports need satisfaction, right? If someone's doing things that wreck your life, tell them to stop. Do it in a nice way. Believe in yourself. Ron suffers from self-doubt at the beginning of the Harry Potter series. He doesn't want to get in there and fix it. And last, of course, a couple more real quick. You don't want to be like Malfoy, who is always trying to sabotage the hero, right? If you guys are being heroic, and I see that you're trying to excel at life, you're trying to succeed at life, I want to support you. And I want to be there to help you, not to tear you down, especially if I'm calling myself a helper. Helpers want people to succeed at life. And if I ask you for help with creating a good environment, and you say you're into it, don't lie to me and then go tell Voldemort everything I told you, what my plans were, right? If you do, I'm going to say you're like the chameleon, or that guy on The Matrix that betrays everybody, right? The politician, the minister of magic, right? Fudge, he doesn't confront Voldemort or any of the bad guys. He always conceals it. He has a problem with establishing and enforcing adherence to a standard. You got to be comfortable setting a standard, a code of conduct for your garden, right, for everybody in your garden. And finally, you have to sustain your motivation. If you can't, then you're going to not be able to last very long as a hero. Remember, Hamish used to be a victor, but he gave up when the bad guys threatened to hurt his family. And through the end of the Hunger Games, he gets his confidence back and helps to lead to victory again. If you can do this, then you're going to be like a mechanic who can fix that broken car engine, that system that is the people, places, interactions, outcomes, and events. Those are the 5 areas of situational awareness for every single garden context. Like right here, there's people, we're in a place, we're interacting with each other. Things are happening, unforeseen events, and there's outcomes we're trying to facilitate. So if you can fix that car engine, if you can tend the garden, you can jump on in it, in that situation, and drive it straight towards Awesomeville, where you can have a good life, be well, and flourish. And that's it. Thank you.